Main man, made man here. Y'all know how I get down. We talking boxing, man. Hope y'all all had a good weekend. Mine's was shit. We're moving right along. First off, I heard that interview with Dante's Boxing Nation by Abel Sanchez. And I know I'm late to the party on this, but it is what it is. And in that particular interview, I was listening to how Abel Sanchez was describing how he was going to approach him and Gennady Golovkin will be approaching the Canelo Alvarez fight. And he's basically saying he's going to bring a war. They're going to bring a war. Canelo is still saying Mexican style. He's not going to sit there and do this. He's not. Look, man, I don't know if somebody lied to Abel Sanchez or what fight that he was watching. But in my opinion, the reason that fight was called a draw wasn't because Gennady Golovkin was just fighting so well. No. That fight got called a draw because Canelo Alvarez stopped fighting well. Earlier on in that fight, Canelo was doing it up. He was doing it all. He was mixing it up. He was standing his ground at certain points. He was backing off at certain points, trying to conserve his energy. He was mixing it up, different angles, showing the hand speed, throwing together combinations, as Gennady Golovkin was doing the same old 1-2 step, coming forward, taking a bunch of punches, trying to ditch out as much punishment as he can, and eventually wear his opponent down. Well, guess what, ladies and gentlemen? It was Canelo Alvarez that was showing adjustments. And I honestly thought the only reason that fight was called a draw is because Canelo let his foot off the gas towards the later end of that fight. Which, if honestly, I thought if he would have won maybe one more round, he would have pulled that victory out. So Abel Sanchez better understand that it wasn't the boxing prowess of Gennady Golovkin that made that fight so close. It's what Canelo didn't do, the reason that made that fight so close. So they better be preparing and making a lot more adjustments in the rematch, in my opinion. I need to see Gennady Golovkin go to that body a lot more. I just need to see him do much better things, because to me, honestly, the things that he normally does, from cutting off the ring to delivering those hard shots, single punch shots, he looked decent in doing it, but not stellar as he normally has. To be honest with you, Gennady Golovkin has not looked stellar possibly since the David Lemieux fight, when he was coming in there behind the jab, using the head movement, getting out of the way of a lot of shots from Lemieux. We haven't seen that Golovkin in quite some time, in a couple fights now. We didn't see him against Daniel Jacobs, We didn't see it in the Canelo first fight, so we didn't even see it in the Kell Brook fight. But then some say that he just tried to overpower a welterweight. But still, the fact still remains is that we need to see adjustments by Gennady Golovkin. Because truth be told, he's not looking younger and younger or better and better per fight. He's starting to look older and older, and he's slowing down a bit more between each fight, in my opinion, which was the reason why we know that the end is possibly near for Gennady Golovkin. Now, I also heard Abel Sanchez talk about the Jermall Charlo situation, in which Dante basically brought it to him, Joe, and was like, yo, what's up with Jermall Charlo? If Jermall Charlo basically beats Hugo Centeno Jr., he then becomes the WBC mandatory to the title that's held by Gennady Golovkin. So whoever wins that particular fight will hold the WBC. That's if Canelo doesn't boycott it this time around. And and of course, Jermall Charlo will be the mandatory. And it seems as if that Abel Sanchez kind of skimmed around it and basically like, yo, man, we ain't thinking about Jermall Charlo right now. He got much more to do. And truth be told, ladies and gentlemen, I understand what Abel Sanchez was saying to a extent. Now, of course, the example of that kid Wade, man, Wade was brought up. And they're like, yo, Gennady Golovkin had no problem with fighting him. What's up with Jermall Charlo? Well, the circumstances are very different in that particular thing. First off, Jermall Charlo fights for the Showtime network and as well as the PBC brand. And, that's usually done on that side of the tracks. All the other top name fighters at that particular weight class fight over there on HBO. Daniel Jacobs, Billy Joe Saunders, Canelo Alvarez, Gennady Golovkin. You know what I mean? They all do. Even Demetrius Andrade, who just recently signed over there to HBO. They all fight on that side of the tracks. So making a fight with Jermall Charlo it won't be the easiest thing in the world to do. And Jermall Charlo is not this big ratings grabber. He's not a big ticket seller. You know what I'm saying? So it's like for us to make that sort of sacrifice for a Jermall Charlo. Well, no, he got to build himself up a little more. You know what I'm saying? He got to do whatever he got to do to get into the ring with a Daniel Jacobs. You know what I'm saying? To get into the ring with a Demetrius Andrade. And then I see people running around saying like, yo, Jermall Charlo was afraid of Andrade. Like, that is crap. Where do y'all get this stuff from? Because Demetrius Andrade runs up in a press conference and starts to call out Jermall Charlo. Everybody think that it was Jermall Charlo ducking Andrade. Well, I think that's crap. You know what I'm saying? First off, Andrade didn't approach Jermall Charlo in that fashion till he started to figure out that Jermall Charlo was headed up to 160. That's first and foremost. Second, it was Demetrius Andrade that backed out of a fight with a Charlo. We recall that when Demetrius Andrade was set to face Jermall Charlo, what happened? He pulled out of that fight because taking advice from his would-be promoter, Rock Nation Sports, Andrade wanting a bigger check, backed out of that fight. So it wasn't a Charlo that backed away from an Andrade. It was an Andrade that backed away from a Charlo. You know what I mean? Not to mention when Demetrius Andrade finally had his opportunity to face Arislandi Lara, when he was next in line to face Lara, he skipped weight divisions, man. Arislandi Lara wasn't going to fight me. Lara clearly stated that he wanted to get that lower level fight out the way, and then Andrade, you're next. He clearly put it out there, plain as day, and Andrade ran away from that fight. So don't give me no crap. Not to mention, as of recent, Demetrius Andrade stating on fact, record, on the interview, it's on YouTube, saying that he does not want to face Billy Joe Saunders at this point. You know what I'm saying? He feels as though he's got to grow into the weight. He got to put on a little bit more muscle, if you will. You know, all those years that Andre had been sitting around while he was at 54, trust me, he was putting on weight. You know what I mean? So get out of here with that crap, man. But the fact still remains, for those who out there saying that a Charlo ran away from an Andrade, well, guess what, man? That is crap, and I'm here to tell you, Joe. And if I'm lying, show me proof otherwise and correct me and steer me in the right direction, man. But, yo, man, y'all need to cut that out, man. That fight ain't going down like that between Gennady Golovkin and Charlo, because it can't at this point. And it ain't worth neither side making these sort of sacrifices for a fight that ain't going to be like just record-breaking or a big level event. Now, to us fight fans, we want to see it because we know what both fighters bring to a fight. But, yo, to the corporations, to the casual world, this fight does absolutely nothing. And a fight also between Gennady Golovkin and Billy Joe Saunders would easily take precedence over anything going on down at middleweight. And that's just being real. Or should I say the winner of the Canelo Triple G fight facing, say, a Billy Joe Saunders is bigger than anything that can go down at middleweight. And those are just facts, you know what I mean? So, I mean, y'all need to cut all this person ducking that person, you know what I mean? Jermall Charlo, truth be told, got to take charge of his career at this point and maybe try to work a way into HBO, man. I know Al Heyman, like I said before, he does business with Showtime, and I don't think that Jermall Charlo was signed to an exclusive Showtime deal, but I could be wrong, because if you go to Jermall Charlo's social media, you see a bunch of corporate Showtime stuff, and usually when you see that type of stuff on their social media, they're pretty much obligated to that network. So I don't know, from last I heard and checked, I don't recall Jermall Charlo being obligated to Showtime, but that's where he fights, man. You know what I mean? He needs to do something like Daniel Jacobs did. Daniel Jacobs, who was once an Al Heyman fighter, fought on PBC, fought on Showtime. What did he do? He cut a deal with Eddie Hearn, and now he's fighting over there on HBO, and he signed to Matchroom Boxing. That's another big question that's kind of lingering around boxing. Should some of the Al Heyman fighters start to maybe sign up with promoters, and that way they will not only fight more, but we'll hear about them a lot more, and there'll be a lot more presence in the public. You know what I mean? So that could be something that needs to be talked about. But we clearly see Daniel Jacobs making a move to get a promoter, and this got him a new network deal. This is making him much more visible than he once was, and he's getting a lot more fights. You know, he's not getting fights we want to see, and if you might want want to say, but he's fighting a lot more. He's remaining much more active, and he's being promoted year round, man. So I don't know. That's just something that the other side maybe want to consider here, man. But yo, all in all, Abel Sanchez, who's always been the dude that stick his foot in his mouth when it comes to Gennady Golovkin, he said dumbass statements like, oh, Gennady Golovkin will face anybody from 54 to 168. You know, he's responsible for dumbass statements like that, man. And, you know, that's Abel Sanchez. He's always done that. He's always went left while Gennady Golovkin went right, man. That's just how he is. But you got to appreciate his loyalty to Gennady Golovkin. Never wavered, never stopped supporting the guy, always had his back. And for that particular reason alone, you got to respect how Abel Sanchez deals with Gennady Golovkin, man. But it's going to be a good thing. We're going to see how this thing play out. I hope Jermall Charlo remains a major player at 160, man. He clearly was, a lot of people, eventually he became the guy at 154, but when he became the guy at 54, he left 54. So it's like, you know, now it's like a lot remains to be seen up at this new weight. So we'll see, man. I just hope things work out good for Jermall. I'm a big fan of Jermall Charlo, man. I love what he brings to a fight. I love that ferociousness. I love that Texas attitude, man. I love how him and his brother, they carry themselves as fighters, you know what I mean? So I do hope nothing but the best for Jermall Charlo at 160, and I do hope to see him in the ring with the other top fighters at middleweight, and we'll see how it plays out. So to the next video, Main Man Made Man. Don't forget to subscribe. Twitter, Made Man 511. Facebook, Main Man Made Man Boxing Forum. Google Plus, Main Man Made Man. Yeah, man. You know, Gennady Golovkin, they're saying that him and Canelo could even possibly make this thing a trilogy. And if they did that, ladies and gentlemen, truth be told, and I hate to say it, but it's the truth, that even takes precedence over a Jermall Charlo fight. So it's like, yo, man, I know, you know, and then Gennady Golovkin is like, what, 35, 36 years old? He's getting old. He's been in a lot of wars. He's got a lot of wear and tear on him, man. Jermall Charlo may just be too late. And that's very unfortunate. But we'll see. So to the next video. Peace out.